Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I'll show you a sci-fi horror film, Significant Other. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film opens in an eerie forest with a deer staring intently at us. At one point, an extraterrestrial tentacle attacks it from behind, and the scene stops there. The action shifts to a couple, Ruth and Harry, who are on a road trip. A few hours later, the couple stop for lunch at a shack called Bigfoot. The waiter approaches their table to pick up the trash and asks worriedly if they saw the red star fall. Harry laughs in confusion because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Most likely, the red star is the very thing that caused the appearance of the alien, as shown at the beginning of the film. Later, the couple sets off to explore the Red Ridge Trail. In their relationship, Harry is the one who is optimistic and always ready for adventure. He also always tries to lift Ruth's spirits and make her smile like a pig. Again, Ruth is nervous about the journey and is afraid to go. However, Harry assures her that it is riskier to drive a car than to walk on the Red Ridge Trail, so she shouldn't worry. Eventually, Harry manages to convince her to come, and after getting their backpacks, they begin to venture into the forest. Later, while Harry is talking to Ruth about the latest horror movie posted on Daniel CC Movie Channel, she senses a bizarre presence nearby, but does not dwell on it too much. Harry tells her to hurry up and follow them because it will be dark soon. Then they find a place to camp and stay for the night. A few hours later, in the middle of the night, Ruth comes out of the tent to do her things. Suddenly, she notices a creepy deer peeping at her sexy body. In the meantime, Harry awakens her and surprises her from behind. When she tells him about the peeping deer, Harry states that it's nothing strange, especially when it's a male deer built with hormones. After that, Harry tucks her to bed with a bedtime hormone story. The next morning, Harry takes Ruth to a beautiful view of the ocean. He confesses his feelings for her and asks for her hand in marriage. When Ruth sees Harry with the ring, she has a sudden panic attack. She begins to feel dizzy and is about to fall off the cliff, but Harry grabs her sexy body back into his arms. After she calms down, Ruth says she is in love with him, but she is against marriage and has not changed her mind even after 6 years together. Harry feels disappointed, and although he knows what Ruth thought about marriage, he thinks their bond over the years has changed her. The proposal significantly changed the couple's mood. Harry thinks that the failed marriage of Ruth's parents has affected the way how she thinks about commitment. He also blames her for the fact that although she goes to take psychological therapy, she has never shared much with her therapist. Indeed, Ruth visits the therapist only to take medication. Harry then walks away, and the two do not speak to each other for the rest of the day. The next morning, Ruth wakes up from her pig sleep only to find a note left by Harry, saying that he went to clean his head. Ruth feels guilty about rejecting Harry's proposal and decides to contact her therapist. So she goes into the forest to look for signal. While walking, she comes across a gruesome deer with its head cut in half. Suddenly, Harry appears behind Ruth, startling her. The two notice that the deer's body is covered with a black substance. Harry examines the deer closely and surmises that it has been infected with a virus. Harry suggests going back to the camp and eating to calm down. While Ruth is still worried about the mystery that the forest hides, Harry assures her that they are safe even if there is a predator nearby because they have fire. The two talk about their relationship, and Ruth repeats that she loves him very much but doesn't want to marry. She fears that times will change and love may fade, so the marriage would make things even more difficult. The next morning, Ruth goes for a walk while Harry prepares food. At one point, he finds a flower he had read about, and as he inspects it, he sees a cave. Meanwhile, Ruth spots a blue-colored glowing fluid inside the cave, so she decides to check out what it is. Inside, she comes across a fluorescent puddle, and when she looks over her shoulder, she suddenly screams at the top of her chicken lungs. The scene then shifts to Harry, who realizes that Ruth is never coming back, so he is looking for her by tracing her smell like a dog. Soon after, he finds her traumatized in the wilderness. Apparently, Ruth has changed as a person after what she saw in the cave, although she does not share this with Harry. She becomes colder and more skeptical of everything around her. Later that night, Harry realizes that Ruth has left the tent. He goes to look for her and finds her with a knife in her hand. She says that she heard a predator and took the knife to defend herself. Harry takes the knife and returns to the tent with her, but Ruth stays awake with her eyes open all night. Something has definitely happened to her in that cave. However, it is not yet clear what exactly it is. The next morning, the couple prepares to leave. Ruth apologizes for yesterday and expresses a desire to reconsider her marriage proposal. Harry is obviously overjoyed and agrees to ask her to marry him again at the same place. They go to the cliff, and Harry kneels down to ask her to marry him. Ruth enthusiastically accepts, and then they kiss. Harry says he describes this moment as the most incredible feeling he has ever experienced. Suddenly, Ruth goes crazy and hits him between the legs and then pushes him off the cliff. Harry falls onto a rock and bleeds to death. Afterward, Ruth runs in panic. She feels dizzy at one point, but continues to run anyway. Sometime later, her head begins to spin and she collapses. Later, a couple, an Asian man and his girlfriend, find her unconscious. When Ruth wakes up, they give her water and try to contact the ambulance. However, there is no signal, so they decide to take her with them. Then they light a fire, and the girlfriend tries to talk to Ruth. However, she speaks very little. The couple realizes that Ruth does not even have her backpack, which is very bizarre. Ruth claims that she doesn't remember anything and becomes nervous. As a result, the girlfriend tries to change the subject and asks her what she likes to do. Then they promise to take her to town the next day, but Ruth doesn't listen to her and continues to stare at the Asian man's knife. Then the girlfriend turns away for a moment to tell her boyfriend about how strange Ruth is. While they are distracted, Ruth grabs the knife that is lying around. The couple is startled by her unexpected behavior and asks her to put the knife down. Just then, they hear a person approaching their camp. To Ruth's surprise, it is indeed Harry. He is completely unharmed, which is really strange because Ruth saw him bleeding to death the previous day. Harry hastily approaches Ruth, and the Asian man tries to stop him, but Harry pulls a long needle out of his finger, with which he cuts off the Asian man's arm. It turns out he's definitely not the Harry we first met. He now wields an alien power and becomes much more violent. Meanwhile, Ruth has run away, and the girl is looking for her. Ruth claims that this is not her boyfriend, but a different creature. The girlfriend doesn't understand what she's talking about. But in the process, Harry calls out to them as he's approaching. The girl hears her boyfriend's voice, but when she sees him, his head splits in two, and he collapses to the ground. Harry then pounces on the girl and throws her heavy body to the ground. Subsequently, he penetrates his needle into her head, ending her heavy life. Then Harry goes to confront Ruth and asks her how she discovered his true identity. At that point, Ruth confesses that she found Harry's body in the cave a few days ago. It was that very thing that traumatized her so much that she did not sleep for a few days. It turns out that an alien had first disguised himself as a peeping deer and had been spying on the couple for a couple of days. Then, when Harry went for a morning walk, the alien followed him and killed him. Now, the real Harry's body is wrapped in a cocoon and kept in the cave. The alien assumed Harry's identity and tried to blend in by cloning his appearance and even his memories and emotions. He reveals that the purpose of the aliens of his race is to take over the Earth, and his job is to gather information before their evil mission. Then, the alien tries to kill Ruth, but he fails. He realizes that he cannot kill Ruth because of the love for her left in Harry's mind. Although the alien has completely taken control of Harry's body, it cannot suppress his emotion of love. Then Ruth runs away, while the alien tries to understand human urges of love. He chases after her, and when he reaches her, Ruth hits him in the face with a piece of wood. But he remains unharmed and tries to calm Ruth down. The alien Harry excitedly explains that this is not the first time he has taken control of a body. So far he has felt all possible feelings, but love is something he's feeling for the first time. According to the alien, no other species in the cosmos feels love like human beings. Love, unlike other biological needs, cannot be readily satisfied, which makes it a unique emotion. Since the Earth will soon be invaded by aliens, he invites Ruth to accompany him to a peaceful planet where they could be together and have a better existence. And because the alien inside Harry is in love with her, he wishes to assist her. Ruth pretends to submit to him, and she notices the knife Harry carried. When they share a kiss, she takes it and stabs him in the heart. Ruth runs into the water, and the alien Harry pursues her. Soon, the blood attracts a shark that attacks the alien. Ruth returns to shore, thinking she has finally stopped the alien. However, she is mistaken, because the alien Harry emerges alive from the water sometime later, showing that the alien species is indestructible. No matter how destroyed his body is, he can always regenerate. Meanwhile, Ruth returns to the camp and finds some food. Suddenly, she begins to feel sick and takes her medicine. At that moment, an alien tentacle surprises her from behind and grabs her by the head. The alien asks her why she is running away, because he just wants to save her. In the next scene, we see Ruth encased in the cocoon, in which the real Harry was also encased before he became an alien. The alien cannot kill her, but he cannot trust Ruth either. He describes how hard he tries to save Ruth, but she is the one who refuses his help. The alien now understands love as a couple's desire to become something unique and decides to fulfill this desire. Since it is not humanly possible for two souls to become one, the alien uses his power to do so. Just then, the alien's appearance begins to change. His male face begins to transform into an increasingly feminine face until he becomes Ruth completely. Now the alien can feel both Harry's and Ruth's emotions at the same time. The alien begins to feel Ruth's love for Harry and the pain she carries in her heart. He promises her that he will feel this pain for her to help her live a happier life, just because he feels he loves her. However, something strange happens. Ruth notices that it's difficult for the alien to remove from himself the anguish she carries in her heart. So she decides to take advantage of that and begins to pressure the alien. Ruth asserts that she cannot push the pain away from her because it's part of human life. Also, since the alien has access to Ruth's memories, she begins to talk about the past traumas that cause her anxiety. She talks about her mother being confined to the house and her father drinking excessively. The alien begins to feel increasingly ill as he sees all her horrible memories. The alien tries to take Ruth's medicines to ease his pain, but she has already run out of them. At this point, the alien realizes the curse of being human. He is filled with self-doubt and self-hatred. The alien tries to keep up with all the emotions he's feeling and begins to have a panic attack. In the process, Ruth sets herself free from the cocoon and helps the alien calm down. While the alien is lying on the ground, Ruth reaches over, picks up a stone, and smashes its brain into tofu pieces. Afterward, Ruth runs for her shitty life, believing that she's finally safe from the nightmare. But then, we see that the alien slowly begins to regenerate. Ruth comes out of the woods and reaches the car. As she drives, she turns on the radio, but receives a message sent by the alien, threatening her that it will find her. Ruth simply turns off the radio and continues driving. Elsewhere, dozens of red stars fall from the sky, insinuating that many more aliens will arrive to join the journey to conquer Earth. But this also implies that the aliens will face a tough battle against the human race, who have a full range of emotions, terrible traumas, and sufferings. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.